We need to know. We should ask more people.
Ben's getting the outliers.
In the comments, put your age, and your big Lambo of choice.
Your national insurance number, the 3 numbers on the back of your credit card.
Yeah, that's it.
And your mum's maiden name.
Yeah. Hello, and welcome back to the Cars Rule Everything Around Me podcast, number 25, I believe this was. Last week, we had a special guest. This week, we do not. At the beginning of every single Cars Rule Everything Around Me podcast, we find out for myself, Edwin, Will to my left, and Benjamin behind the camera.
Hello.
Do cars ruin or rule everything around us? Willie.
You know what? For this quarter century episode, for this 25th Annie,
this bicentennial, not correct.
We pull up with one of the biggest ruins ever.
Genuinely one of the biggest
Possibly.
ruins of all time.
Now, if you're watching this, you can see what's behind us. And if you're not watching and you're listening, I'll just describe it for you. There's a blue Jag XFR behind us.
And what's that for?
That is, we bought it for, we were buying V8s for 10% of the price of a Mustang.
Yep.
So I got a 5-litre supercharged Jaguar XFR.
Powerful.
For £6,500.
Powerful.
Made 580.
You forgot to hit play on the payback.
Everyone's
Sorry, and for those of you watching, we've got Ben's choice of Need for Speed Payback playing.
Which I was playing last week. It's a great game.
The weakest Need for Speed choice.
Not true.
Absolutely.
But sorry, carry on.
Jaguar XFR, 585 horsepower, made on the dyno for £6,500, an absolute bargain. Common issue with those is a timing chain.
That's weird.
And we there's a YouTube video that's already gone out. If you'd like to go and watch it, please don't. It's very sad. We spent a few days or a week taking the supercharger out, doing some servicing bits, fixing it, putting a smaller pulley on, a really cool intake. It sounded amazing. Went for a test drive.
Tough times.
Big tough times happened. The car died. We thought maybe it's fuel related, blah, blah, blah. Went to a specialist, Tom Lenthal. He told us, he basically said, L.
Yeah, hold this.
I put the L in Tom Lenthal. All the L's in Tom Lenthal, in fact. Yeah. And it sounds like your chain has skipped.
Yeah.
Now, we were a bit like, surely not. Even though a specialist has just told us that this is what happened, we still didn't know.
Because to me, I was like, that sounds like fuel. It sounds like the fuel basically died. When a car stops getting fuel, it kind of slowly coughs out and stops. Whereas usually if you throw a timing chain, it's big sadness hours, it locks up, everything just goes boom.
But basically, this will be in a video coming
soon, next week.
Or you've seen it, either way.
I don't think they will have seen it.
But it is coming. So, but this is quite a long explanation of a ruin. But anyway, it's kind of worth it. So we thought, let's take the engine out.
Yeah.
That'd be simple, which it wasn't.
But before that, so the way if we run our YouTube channel, Top Dead Center, is we have a rough plan about what we want to cover in an episode and the plan of what we want to do in the episode before we do it. And we write an intro for them. So we wrote the intro basically saying, this engine's gone, which is what we were told by multiple people. We looked into it. Yeah, okay, this engine's dead. We did the intro saying, this engine is dead. Let's take it apart and you see what went wrong. And for the beginning, we were like, let's just try and start it as a joke for the video. And it started.
It just started and idled normally.
It just worked.
And we were all, this will be on camera as well, that we were all baffled by it.
And we
for a moment.
Yeah, I swear on anything. I swear on all E36s out there. So that's how you know I'm serious. It's not faked for a second.
Not absolutely not.
We had no idea it would start.
We have tried to start that car maybe 2 or 3 days after it happened. We thought, let it sit, because that's what happened before. When it happened, it died, and then wouldn't start again for ages.
Nothing.
And then it tried to start,
it would cough
and then we
got
nothing.
Yeah.
So we left it, and then I think like a couple of days later, wanted to hear the noise again, and again, no start. Just cranking, no start at all. We thought, okay, this is dead. And yeah, like you said, did the intro, car started up, turned it off, started it up,
start again,
same again.
You could rev it,
and then it died.
And then
so we were thinking fuel, and we had don't want to get into like too much detail because it'll be in the video, but messed around with some fuel lines and some other stuff, and then again,
and it started again.
I can't remember if it died that time, but
no, we just turned it off.
We turned it off because we were like, let's preserve what little of the chain you might have left. So we thought this is
good news.
So we sent it to Tom Lenthal. I very smugly showed the video to Tom Lenthal, and he was baffled. Tony, the guy who works
specialist
at the shop,
on the engine,
was baffled. He said he was ready to put all his tools down and leave.
Yeah, because they were like, we've misdiagnosed it.
Yeah.
We brought the car to them and they were like, well, clearly it's a skip chain. And then there's a video of it running and it wasn't a skip chain. But could you, long story short, was it a skip chain?
It was.
Yeah.
It was. We took the engine apart. All the timing marks were off. There's a third chain, Mr. President,
which is
quite important.
So the first two chains, again, you'll see this in the video, you can change, a layman could change with guidance, and you can do it just out of the car. However, the third chain, that requires basically the engine to be torn down to get to, and it has to be done. So just over your left shoulder, there's an engine, and just behind us, if you're listening, where the Jag is sitting, inside the engine bay is a PlayStation 4 playing Need for Speed Payback, where the engine should be.
A fantastic pod. Did say that. I was like, this at least makes a great podcast chat and a little bit of furniture for that, but not necessarily dead.
No,
we do have a plan.
The blue car may relive.
There's also a backup plan.
There is a backup plan. We'll give you guys...
There's a green backup plan.
There's a green backup plan that maybe we'll give you guys on the podcast a little sneak peek. We might have bought another Jag XFR. Anyway, so that's a ruin for Will.
Huge,
the biggest ruin.
I'm smiling through a real big tears.
But personally, cars are...
Personally, 350Z MOT, so that's ready to go.
Yeah. So
may even be sold by this point.
The video would have gone out.
Video would have gone out. Range Rover is currently being fixed, waiting for the bill on that.
Tough.
It's always tough when you're having someone else. I thought I might fix that myself, but I don't want to deal with it again. Yeah. That's daily driver. That needs to be.
Do you know what? I can completely understand it. Working on daily drivers shouldn't be a thing. You shouldn't ever have to work on your daily. Someone else should do that, so you never have to rely.
It has that, the viscous fan thing. I don't know how to describe that, but basically, you need a wrench that looks like it, or like a tool thing that looks like it's from the 20s. Yeah, there should be starting Spitfires.
17-foot long.
So I was like, I'm not buying that.
Yeah,
I'm not buying that. If it's in a ratchet set, I'll do it.
Benjamin,
hello.
Is it a rule or a ruin?
It's a rule because nothing's happened.
Oh, okay.
It's my classic line. Nothing's happened.
Nothing cars.
Well, I did drive Will's 350 today.
Yeah,
and
it's great.
You like it?
Yeah.
You buying it?
Is it a 350 or is it an S2000?
I'm not driven an S2000, so I don't know.
I did say they're from the same era.
Same guy.
The same, not they're different.
They're quite similar.
Same,
but different.
350 much more powerful though. Not good. Feels much quicker than an S2000.
It's true.
So that's going to be playing on your mind for the next.
Yeah, I've been thinking all day about whether I want to buy it or not. And
you did a great skid in that, and you look great. Not on the road, sorry. As in, you actually did at a skid pan.
Oh yeah, not on the road.
Yeah.
No, on the road. No.
Oh, sorry. No, we'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's exciting.
You know what? You know what it is for me? It's a second-hand ruin. It's not even my Jaguar, but I feel sad. I feel sad and disappointed by it.
Is it because we've spent 3 or 4 days doing it?
You know what? I'm not. I completely understand how privileged we are to be able to get to mess with cars day in, day out with our mates. This job is not a real job.
Yeah.
But this week's been tough. I'll tell you what. The emotional ups and downs of going. We took days to get this engine out, and it just would. It was fighting us every single step. It was like the S3.
Yeah.
I got so many flashbacks to the S3. And then when we finally got it out, and we were like, it runs, so this engine must be savable. It's going to be good. We're going to get this car going. And Tony came round, opened one of the valve covers up, and laughed and went, "It's done." And I you know what? Last night after that, I felt like I was exhausted, like I'd run a marathon, because I was waiting. I was waiting on the excitement of it, and then it all went away, and I was just like.
I was convinced on the fantasy story that it would all be fine.
Everything's good.
We got this lucky moment where we just beaten death.
Yeah, exactly.
We were at death's door, but we said not today.
Yeah,
my guy. But unfortunately, death's door opened and we fell in.
So it's
Jag, not dead but coming.
Second-hand ruin for me on that. The Merc, I'm just finishing up this weekend. I'm going to finish up the last bits and bobs. Anyone that has been with me in the car, there's a lovely aroma of oil.
Oh, it is delightful.
In the car.
Of life for sure.
I changed the valve cover gaskets when I did the PCV system on it, and the valve cover gaskets did not mate up nicely, and so they were burning a little bit of oil. So I'm changing those this weekend, and then that car's ready to sell. So it's time for that car to go.
It's all changed.
It's all changed. You know what? Spring has sprung. It's time for the old guard change.
Need to get on the new train.
Meanwhile, Ben, sticking with the cars.
For now. Well, maybe not. I don't know.
Now considering a third car from me.
Oh,
which I'm happy to entertain.
One of the biggest things, one of the biggest reasons I don't want to do it as well. Is
because of me.
Also, I also thought this earlier. That's kind of pathetic for me. Because all I need to do is just not worry about that. Because it's a good car. Why would you turn out a good car because someone...
It's also a very good price. I'm not just saying that because it's mine.
It is a good price. Yeah.
Well, and although I said this earlier that we'll wait, but I don't want to forget it.
You let Ben drive it.
Ben drove the 350. Ben drove the 350.
I did.
And you asked me something.
I didn't.
We were on a private road.
I said
private road
deep in Mexico.
Yeah.
And I said
area 51 or wherever.
I've never done a skid before.
And we said we'd do a skid. And I thought, I'm not going to have Ben, Tokyo drift a car park or a corner, but let's do a little long.
Ben, do you know what DK stands for?
No.
Okay.
Great.
No worries.
Well, of course you don't.
DK.
Yeah. No.
Donkey Kong.
Lovely. Very good.
Fantastic.
Is that actually it?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yes, that
Well,
is
no,
it.
that is
That's the
actually
line.
joke. He says Donkey Kong, Drift King.
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay.
so I said, pull up here, just outside Mexico City.
Yeah.
Brackets Reading.
Tijuana.
And just give it some little clutch drop.
Give
and
her
beans.
some beans.
But what Ben did, I monitored his feet closely, and
Okay.
I don't like that at all. But I could see he dumped the clutch, but sort of let it out very slowly,
Ooh.
and sort of was a bit timid with it. So
Because it's your car. I didn't wanna mess it up.
The clutch just said, "Ooh."
Did he say, you know what? I'm going to make you a smell. I'm going to craft you a smell right now.
You smell this?
This is napalm.
I did one and
You
didn't.
smell that?
I did it one. And, we did the first one. I didn't quite give it enough gas, so we'll do a second one. So actually, because it didn't slip because
Sorry,
it was
Chad.
very, very warm outside. And then
Sorry. It's very warm
no, because it's very dry at the minute, and it was quite warm today. So like you got more grip than usual.
Okay.
So
I thought that was one of your excuses. It was hot, so I was
no,
sweating.
there was quite a
Big raindrop.
It wasn't very slippy, so it was like already kind of gonna be harder. And then I didn't give enough gas, so I wasn't being brutal with it. And with the second one, and I did it, and I just looked over and went, "That's clutch."
I just saw the revs just hanging at like 2.5, 3K, but we weren't really going anywhere. It was just a.
I tried. I didn't, but then
Nice.
then we went to a different part of Mexico, and Will did one, and he properly went for it. I was like, okay,
That's how you got to do
yeah,
it.
but I didn't want to ruin his car.
Yeah, but you ruin it more by not doing it.
That's
hard.
fair, but I didn't.
Do you know
want
what,
to,
Treat him mean. Keep him king.
Ben, once the V8s are going, once we do our finale episode, because there's going to be some burnouts and donuts and stuff in there.
Hella burnouts.
You jump in. You jump in one of the guys and you have a go. Because I'll tell you what, a donut, also an automatic.
Oh yeah.
Perhaps the E55 we just finished up.
Yes,
we did a little
yeah.
drive. Perhaps he does really quite nice burnout
Yeah.
We took him to a
In
very
the
similar
simulation.
location.
in the simulation.
We've been to Mexico a lot recently.
In
Yes.
theory, it's a
tanning.
great burnout. Very, very quick interruption. But if you want to see our super top secret that we've definitely never ever teased or hinted on the podcast, Project Car, then you need to come down to Bicester Food and Fuel this weekend, Saturday the 12th. We'll put tickets down in the description, or you can check out foodfuel.co.uk for more information. We'll have our very secret project car there and many, many more projects, but probably not the Jag.
Shall we move on to the news of the week
Now, what I've done this week is I've merged the news
and anecdotes?
with things that we talk about.
Okay, I like that.
Because then we've let the conversation flow, boys.
Lovely to hear.
So, first on the anecdotes here, I've got Lasagna 360 Man has 2 of the Top Gear cars. I mean, that's
Yes.
from you.
Now I forget. I feel really bad right now. It's Ricky something, but basically he's the man that has the Ferrari 360 with the plate lasagna.
Which one is it? Is he the lasagna with an A or the E?
He's the proper lasagna. He's the one with the
Track
T37s,
car
or
Japanese.
the cool
types.
stuff.
Yeah.
He works for Top Gear as a photographer and that sort of stuff. The Top Gear exhibit closed recently, as we heard, and he has got 2 of the cars.
Now, I emailed them.
Yeah.
And is it Bewley?
It's Bewley, yeah.
I emailed, or we were like, because when we found out Top Gear cars were being sold, we were like, okay,
Come on.
sign us up for that.
TDC's got to have one of
Because
those.
that's a cool thing to try and buy. Any of them.
Yeah.
Well, like, the old ones. And they said, oh, we don't know what we're doing with it.
Yeah.
We might just get scrapped. I was like, whatever.
No, so this was... now, these are the later cars. So I believe some of the more important cars have gone to another exhibition
Okay.
up in Scotland, I want to say.
Yeah.
But these were the Merc, I think it was an S600. These were from much later. Like, this is Paddy McGuinness, Chris Harris
okay,
generation. It was an S600, which I don't think I've actually seen that episode.
There'll be many of those. I haven't
A
seen.
red one. And then there's a is it 205? Or is it 106? It's a rally. Sorry, it's a rally.
Harris's.
It's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
rally.
remember
He's got that as well. So I believe he owns them and will be restoring and working on them. So that's cool. So
That is cool.
yeah, I wish him the best. So
Yeah.
that'd be cool to have that going.
Hey man, if you want to talk about it,
If you want to sell us something,
No, I want the Panda. I want the limo. But I'm fairly sure the Panda limo. Last time I went to Bewley, it was a bench.
Yeah, I was going to say,
a
I'm
section was cut out to sit on.
sure
So-
they're not letting that thing run on the road.
Yeah, no. I think of like the rust that's like just
That's
made
gonna be
its
tough.
way through that. That's just not structurally viable.
An
Now-
ex Top Gear car, I'd be happy. I'd
Yeah.
be so happy.
If anyone knows anything about
Anything at all.
about the Top Gear cars and their whereabouts, let us know. That'd be cool. Where are some of the? Which ones? What are we thinking?
That's what I want. Some normal ones.
The Hilux is about.
Like I don't need it to be Oliver. I want like the Jimny that Hammond had in the dumb car. Like but I bet you most of those just got scrapped.
I think about some of the like was it the Terios? That's not a car they bought. I don't think it's a car. I'm very sure that would have been like a new press car. At the
That's
time,
what I'm thinking.
But they've liveried up as a Fox.
I think a lot of those because like they've ransacked that.
Yeah.
I wonder if those are one of those press cars because sometimes press companies have to crush the cars because they're pre-production cars. They can't ever go on the road, so they'll ring up someone and say, "Go ahead, crash it to death. We don't care as long as we get some promo out of it." Twingo though, I think they bought the Twingo that they jumped into the water.
Oh really?
I think that was a purchase
With Ross Kemp in it.
Yeah.
Was he still
Also,
in there?
still really want. You know what? We'll get on to wanting the week in a bit. Twingo RS was behind me. Still one of my favorite cars of all time. I love them.
Yeah, they are quite cool. Next up is another one of yours. We got a Range Rover spin on the motorway.
That was wild. Yeah, okay, so last weekend I went to go and pick up, it's not there anymore, but the last piece of the E36 M Sport bumper kit that I need, which is a front bumper. There was one on eBay that needed painting. Cool, mine is white, so it needs painting anyway. From a guy called Callum, who's actually a subscriber and a viewer. Shout out, Callum. And I was on the way down to Brighton, past Gatwick, just getting onto the whatever you call it road that goes to Gatwick off the M25. It's a very busy road. And there was a Range Rover Velar in front of me. We're in the outside lane, the fast lane, and I'm behind. To be fair, something I've been trying to avoid more recently. I was semi-close to this Velar, and every 10 seconds it would kind of drift to the right and then jerk back into the lane. And I was like, "You're on your phone. You're on your phone." And I thought, you know what? Let me back off just in case something happens. Not 10 seconds later, they drifted off to the left and then jerked the wheel hard to the right over the white line basically into the central reservation. Hit the dirt, and as they were on the dirt, they pulled it back left. That car spun out quicker than I've ever seen a car. We're doing 70 miles an hour. 70 miles an hour.
70.
It was 180 degrees in half a second. Somehow the lanes 1, 2, and 3, 'cause it's a 4-lane road, I think there, completely free, no one around. It then spun all the way across into the far left lane. Up again, didn't hit a barrier somehow.
Nice.
But in the space of maybe 2 seconds, just from overcorrecting and being on the phone, spun all the way out into the. I very
one-handed.
They were looking one shoulder over the passenger seat, looking out the back. Like, mate, but managed to spin, didn't hit anything, and came to a stop. And as I went past, also it's kind of bad. My first thought was, see if I can get past this. Might be quite late if I.
I always think that's how I would think. I think if I saw a crash that was like bad and people needed help, I'd like to think I might stop and help. But if it's like that, because I've just like smashed into a wall and they're being a bed end, I want to get it past. I don't want to get stuck behind the traffic officer holding everyone up. No,
but my first thought was, if anything happens, like if there's a crash here, I'm parking in front. That's how bad is that? That my brain goes, yeah, but I don't want to get stuck behind it. That's crazy. But anyway, the spun out. The moment I saw it happening, I started braking. So I was like, I'm not being involved in this. Came to a stop. And when I looked out to my left as I went past, the woman was sitting there still with her phone in her hand.
Nice.
So she had clearly tried to catch it back and was just stopped on the hard shoulder, but still shaking, like very upset.
Yeah.
But I could see the phone in her hand.
Yeah.
Clown. You deserve it. She better use that as I will never touch my phone again.
Right.
No, she started driving and went, "Oh my God, LOL, just nearly got in a crash."
Guys, can't believe I just did that. Anyway, subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Wow. These clowns don't. If they never had the nous to think about it in the first place,
no,
they're probably going to do it again until they die.
So yeah. So if that was Univelar, L.
Now, next one we have. This is a piece of news. This was from Ben, I believe. Put this in. McLaren merger.
Yes.
This is quite interesting.
I have not prepared this at all. I just put it in there as I saw it.
I have looked into it.
Okay, that's good.
So McLaren are merging with a company called 47. 47, it's owned by CYVN Holdings, which is like an Abu Dhabi-based like investment firm, basically. So McLaren have merged with them. There's like no real change. Cars will be the same. Brand will be the same. There's no change in anything other than they're getting a bit more help. But basically part of 47's sort of vision for it is that they want to take McLaren into new markets. So there's been quite a lot of rumor of an SUV.
Oh,
McLaren.
now,
but this now gives them
it makes sense.
the nous to do it.
Because what we were talking the other day off the podcast about the Urus, and that they sold more in, was it 6 months or is it the first year?
I can't remember. Yeah, it was like in the first year they outsold the Huracan, and the Huracan was around for like 8 years or something.
Also, the Huracan was a cheaper car as well.
Yeah, but it was the entirety of Huracan production in either 6 months or 1 year they sold, successfully sold. So, of course, it makes sense. You look around, you go, okay, people buy 4x4s, they don't buy sports cars.
I don't know the numbers on the Pura Sang or the Pura Sang, but I see a lot of them.
The thing is, I don't know what their USP would be. Because, granted, you say the same thing about the Lamborghini, but Lamborghini has successfully made a USP in that it looks like a Bellens RSQ8.
Yeah.
Sorry to say it, if you like Uruses, it's dumb. It doesn't look cool. Yeah. An RSQ7, RSQ8, sorry, looks better.
Yeah.
It just does.
I think not all they have, because obviously I'm assuming it will be an okay car, but it's the McLaren name has some pull. So.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is that like Lamborghini goes on the show aspect, which is why people buy Lamborghinis. It's why I want a Murcielago, because it's dumb and it's cool and it's big.
Yeah.
But McLaren is like smart and fast and light.
Yeah.
How do you make that work in a 4x4?
Well, I guess it's similar to Lotus. I see again, don't know sales figures. It might be performing poorly, but I see so many of those Electra.
But that's one that I cannot stand.
Yeah, I think they look dreadful.
And has nothing to do with it being electric. Is there electric? Right? They are electric, right? It's nothing to do with them being electric. I just think they're a hideous looking thing.
But the difference is though, is that's a Lotus now owned by Geely, right? By a Chinese company. So that it's just them basically rebadging big electric SUVs, whereas at least McLaren, put it this way,
they'll build it.
If they can like Lamborghini, if they're going to then make that SUV that then funds them making actually good cars on the side,
exactly.
Because there'll always be a knobhead who wants to buy one.
Oh yeah.
But if you can make actually cool cars that are good on the side, that works.
I don't know if the McLaren ownership is the same as that's what I think. Kind of what you're saying as well is the McLaren audience or the market's not quite the same as the Lamborghini.
No, absolutely, yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe that's what I assume. It surely will help.
Yeah. Well, McLaren looking at the English car that's horribly unreliable 4x4 market and going, cut me a slice of that. You know what? I can make this thing break down every 2 weeks
as long as it's not electric.
Yeah.
They do some. I mean, it'll probably be a V8 twin turbo, or they have that V6 twin turbo now.
Is that the Artura's engine?
Artura, yeah. But yeah, if it keeps them about,
then
I'm kind of cool with it. But CYVN Holdings, so this is this investment firm, they also have a stake in Neo.
Okay, yeah.
Electric car stuff. So they have there's some know-how from electric stuff. Kind of worrying, but fine.
Yeah.
They also have control of Gordon Murray Technologies.
Really? I didn't know that.
So there's a possibility that McLaren would now have help from Gordon Murray on any sort of like
Gordon Murray. Well. Ooh, look how the turntables turn.
Now you're at my door.
Yeah. Oh, you want to make a car?
So like for sort of lightweighting stuff and
that's cool.
And whatever else that will be interesting. But yeah, I mean it's good news for McLaren, I think, because it's a little bit of backing, because I don't think they were in the best shape.
No, also it's a sad day when any cool brand dies.
Yeah,
and it's nice to have them back.
Yeah.
But there will always be a foreign investor who decides to kickstart it back up.
Yeah.
MG right now, how are you alive?
Yeah.
How are you going? But you're going somehow well.
What is their UK?
No one
like solely. There's
Caterham
there. Yeah, I mean they're here and they build cars here. I don't know if maybe there's something behind the scenes.
I don't know. I don't know enough about the politics.
But like, there's no like big.
Because Jag Land Rover, they're not owned by a UK company, but they are still built there though.
Yeah.
Here, though.
No, I'm talking about like completely independent UK car company.
Aerial.
I mean, Ginetta. We know Ginetta are because I think that actually might be one of their taglines is that they are the only UK.
But that's what I mean is not to sort of shit on Ginetta, but like that's the.
They're much smaller. There's no large.
There's no large scale stuff. As soon as you get out of that, you need to get abroad.
Come on, boys,
give us rich guys in.
Give us a hand.
Yeah, but I mean, if it keeps McLaren about, cool, absolutely fine by me. Because imagine the McLaren Technology Centre got turned into like housing or offices or something. I would be
someone's college.
Yeah,
the swimming pool's just outside, mate. It's a big one. Just go on then.
Huge length on that. Huge. How deep is that?
Not deep. I think you can walk through it.
Oh,
through the middle.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'd like to do that.
I'd like to go. Are there fish in there? Can I fish in the McLaren Technology
That'd be
Centre? Can
quite
someone
cool.
confirm that?
Big koi pond. That'd be cool.
Big koi pond doesn't want you to fish in the.
Although, like, just feeding those fish, like if you're in the middle, you're done. All the fish have to get all the way to the edge. You go.
Crazy. Most normal TDC podcast conversation.
So yeah, that's the McLaren thing. US tariffs.
Yes. Now
we're not doing politics, but we're just
no. It's more interesting to work out how does this affect the trout population?
koi population. McLaren.
No, there'll be car parts that will become more expensive.
Yeah.
I literally just over here on the down there. That's a load of stuff imported from America.
I got it right in time.
I got in real right time.
As far as I'm aware, it isn't going to affect the classic car, the 25-year rule.
No,
that kind of stuff, because that would actually be small in relation to world stuff. But
of course,
in terms of like classic car market, if there was a change to importing stuff to America in terms of tariffs or taxes or whatever, that would be huge.
Oh, it'd be great. No more TVRs disappearing to American shores.
All of a sudden, Evos would be 25 quid.
Evo's coming back. Oh, amazing. Right, mate. Stick them up. Get them going.
But yeah, it'd be interesting. I can't think of... I guess it's relatively rare that you get stuff from the US.
Yeah, no, that we were talking about it before. I think there is an exclusion on, it's called like an exclusion of steel and aluminium bodied cars because they import so many. So they're like, but I don't know enough on it. But it's interesting to see, maybe in the comments, any of you who potentially rely on American imports or exports for your classic cars. That'll be interesting to see.
That will be interesting. Please don't let prices go up of anything.
Please, no more.
Then the final point was 350Z clutch slipper, which we've already talked about.
We've done that.
We've already talked about. So, Ben, my next section here says want of the week. Is that where you'd like to go?
Ooh.
GTR.
You're on GTR.
Ben's on a GTR.
That's straight in there. Is that why?
Because I just like them. And after driving that car, it's not loud enough. Although we did a passing shot.
The 350Z, you haven't driven a GTR.
Oh yeah, no, I'm driving a GTR. Although if anyone has one that would let me drive one, please.
Here we go. What about Will 1 year ago?
Oh, thanks, Will. Very kind of you to offer.
Not painful.
No, we drove the 350 and it just, I just want that that VQ
Lovely.
35.
Cool stuff.
VR 35.
I'm gonna let you have one more.
VR 35.
VQ 38.
No, what?
Yeah.
Oh, VQ.
What are you talking about?
What's
no,
a GTR?
VR? Sorry, VR 38 DV TT.
That's
you there.
Yeah, because basically I like that V6 per that the GTR makes, and I was hoping that the 350 would have that, and it does. If you're stood outside watching,
Ben wants trombone 350Z. Ben wants takeover 350Z.
I don't know what that is.
You do.
What do you mean by trombone?
You want army tricks and GTR noise.
You want.
Yes. When it purrs. Oh,
yeah. That's
actually potentially my favorite car noise.
You want the Bradford Special GTR.
But this is a contentious point. We've spoken many times with Ben off camera, off the podcast. Your favorite engine noise is V6.
No, my favorite engine noise is probably V12. But
no, he's saying that. He's saying that because he's on recording
I'm 100% certain he said V6.
He did say V6.
No. I like V6 more than
V6 best.
You said it was your best.
No, it will go V12 and V6 are on par.
No,
but it's not all V6s. It's GTR V6.
That's rough.
GTR V6 is something. It tickles me in a very special way.
Does it give you the fizz?
It gives me the makes my knees jiggle. I guess.
Okay.
I want to get to the bottom of this psychologically.
We got that
because I can understand my GTR thing because when I grew up as a kid, that's when it came out.
Yeah,
it was on Top Gear, brand new.
Yeah,
it was breaking records. It was on YouTube doing launches, beating supercars. Whereas you would have caught like the sort of middle to back end of that. So what is it? What ignited the R35 fire?
I don't know.
Okay, great.
I've always liked them, but
you were talking to us
earliest memory.
But you were telling us the other day that there was something about there was some GTR of some sort.
I don't know what it was. I saw one. There was something on YouTube when I was younger, when I was but a wee lad. I used to watch, and they had the person, I can't remember who it was, had a GTR. I remember just one of the first experiences of being like, "That's cool noise. That is cool noise," which is part of the reason why I think it's baked into me.
GTR on YouTube. I guess actually, to be fair, you probably did get you got the beginning of everyone on YouTube having a GTR.
Yeah. That's what I mean. That's why I don't remember who it was. I just remember it being noise that I remember thinking, hello. That and V12, because also like Aventador, that was when I was, again, young, like 10. Aventador came out and I was like, what?
Any noise in the world to listen to, you're going with a VR. 38.
Not any noise. It's up there though.
But engine noise. You know, this is quite sad. I was in the car the other day and I was bored of music and I didn't want to listen to a podcast. So I put that C.R.E.A.M video on. In the car? I'm driving along in the Range Rover and I've got
a Bozzy.
I've got this like 4-minute long video of I think it's a Bozzy video, of just this C.R.E.A.M. And I couldn't have been happier.
Yeah, no, I have done that with the with the guy in Holland driving the Carrera GT. He's doing a POV and he gets up to the speed bump and he keeps going.
Yeah. If I could get like podcast level, like sort of hour long
ASMR.
If they could be like an ASMR, but like hour long, but it's different, maybe different cars.
But like it's encompassing, like it's the door latches.
Yeah,
it's all of it. It's just all of it going in once.
Maybe we could hit that up, and also it means we could drive the C.R.E.A.M, right?
Oh man, we're gonna record some sounds. Can we just grab the keys quickly?
Just gonna take it up the road. With that, and I don't think I'd ever done it before, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to put this on.
We were talking the other day because Will and I, with car noises, that you know what, that might actually be our special subject.
Yeah,
cars are our expertise.
Yeah,
but telling what a car is from a distance, I think that's our special subject.
A useless skill,
it really is, because we were standing just behind where Ben is by those doors. Those doors were open the other day, and there was a few of us. There was 5 or 6 of us. And there was a sound in the distance because we're near some dual carriage, like a motorway, basically, that's half a mile that way. And sometimes you get some noise. And a car accelerated big time in the distance. We interrupted the conversation with, shh. The VR6. And Will went, yeah, but he's big turbo. We're like, yeah, that's a big turbo VR6. And everyone went, what are you talking about? How can you tell that?
We regularly have a listen. It's like, whoa. Oh,
it was an M4.
Oh, an M4. We did have an M4.
M4 yesterday.
The M4 was great because we were like, that's an M4, but specifically one with the sort of
the mid pipe,
the single mid pipe, like the a modified mid pipe.
So we've been talking. I know the guys, the Auto Alex guys, did this early in their podcast, but I think we need to do it. We guess the car from the sound game because we play it with Ben to try and teach him. I think Ben, you've got better.
I can do potentially I can do a lot of time the engine. But car, the other day I got another one. We were in the office behind Will's shoulder, which is quite an enclosed space, and we just heard a noise, and we went 488. That's it.
That was a 488.
Also,
it was easy.
I didn't even know if it was a V8.
The beginnings were McLaren, but then when he hit that crossover, that's 488 all day. So, perhaps if you in the background, maybe you load up some of those. Maybe we do one on this podcast. Maybe we do it on the next week. But we'll have to get some of those going.
I enjoy it. It's like it's a test I know I could part. Well, I could get like 80% on.
If school was that,
some of the YouTube ones,
you can't use modified.
It's not fair.
No,
it's not fair.
Although Ben tried to get us with one the other week, he played a video, and not only did we know that it was an R34 GTR, we knew the exact video it was.
Oh, there's gonna be. I bet a load of people know exactly
the blue one with it's the T51 R mod video. It's got the 5 spokes on it. The bonnet's up inside the hangar. Garage type thing.
You did it as well with an S2000. I was watching S2000 videos that you had. I went, oh, is that red, that one? And is the background sort of deserty? I was like, yeah. And you're like, I've seen that one. Well, how? And also, it's not like this is some famous video. It's just like a 400 view video from 20 years ago.
We've been searching for a video, a Murcielago video.
Please.
When we both worked at Car Throttle doing social media, there was a sort of back end where people would submit videos to. So people could submit videos that they might want to have featured. And it was great because we were just going through car videos,
troll videos,
and editing them or whatever else. So we'd get some interesting stuff, but we'd also get some really cool stuff. And there was this video once, very grainy,
very grainy runway event,
super grainy. Murcielago. I want to say it was a 6.
I think it was Grigio Telesto. It was a grey color, right?
It was a 640.
I can't remember, but I know for sure it had a Fab Speed exhaust.
Yeah, and it was you could see because the car disappeared over a curvature. It was a big old runway. And it just does this launch, not like a big one, but just pulls away. But it is every gear.
To the top.
Gear, absolutely max attack to the red line all the way. It was a top speed run, essentially.
Yeah.
And it sounded.
It's perfect.
Like it was unbelievable. And we still haven't found that video
I don't believe it's online. I think it was just submitted to us.
Yeah.
But someone out there has to have it.
Yeah.
If we can have that, I'm not joking. That would quell a part of my soul that's unhappy.
Yeah.
Because I cannot find that video, and I've tried many times.
And I can listen to it in the car then.
Yeah.
I can have it on repeat.
There's something about old YouTube videos. It was actually in the last episode that we had with Robin, we had to pause the filming to change a battery, I think, or something. And I said to Robin, you like Rovers. There is an old Adam C video, and if you're in the UK and you like cars, there's you know a certain Adam C video that you remember in your head. I said, Robin, there's an old Adam C video of this Rover. I think it was a 45, and it sounds absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and it's followed by an E36. And he went, yeah. I went, have you ever seen that video? He went, that's me. That's my car. I was like, what? What do you mean? He went, yeah, that's me. That's my Rover.
Yeah.
Anyway, he went, how do you remember that video? I was like, well, it's ingrained in my head from when we were at Carthrottle. Last night, I got a link to an Adam C video with a timestamp. Clicked on it. The exact thing my brain was remembering it. All the details were still correct.
Yeah.
It was stamped in my brain. He said, yeah, no, that's me.
Yeah. Crazy.
I love that.
It's like the Brera video. I did a video years ago on YouTube. I don't know if it's still on there, but of me revving I had a 3.2 Brera that I just had decats and something. I had something cut out of it basically, and I can't remember how it came about. But you're like, yeah, I've seen that video.
Yeah,
because it only had like 12,000 views. Well, I say only, like it did 12,000 views, which is a lot for a video, like a 12-second video. But
yeah,
it's crazy the things you come across on the random videos.
I vividly remember watching it and going, oh, that's cool, cool Brera exhaust.
Yeah,
years before I ever knew Will.
Yeah. But yeah, if you got a video, if you've got a memorable one,
what's your car YouTube video? The car YouTube video in your brain?
I have literally no idea.
No?
No.
What's some that
the Huayra one is up there.
Yeah.
Any of the Kreisig videos.
the Japanese. Yeah.
The Countach one is a classic.
For me, it's the S600, the brilliant exhaust, or the Sasaki 600 exhaust. That's a you're meeting two YouTube.
It's not Fab Speed. I think it's an FI exhaust Murcielago going over the hill. Was that?
Yeah, going up,
going
FI?
over
I think
it might be FI. I can't remember. There's that one. There's so many.
This is big car nerd hours. So perhaps drop some of your favorite your favorite. Maybe they don't have to be from years ago, but the one that your brain always just goes back to that you think of when you think about car YouTube. And we'll get some of those car sounds going.
So that was Ben's one of the week.
Jeez.
The GTR.
Big tandem.
You'd buy one?
Would you buy one?
Yes. Well, yeah.
Okay.
Lots of
Will
money.
you buy one?
Will I buy? I said this earlier. I said today earlier, off camera. I said if I die and I haven't owned an R35 GTR, I'll be very upset.
Okay, so it is a life goal for you.
Yeah, it's up there.
I like
Because it's not first car that I really wanted, but he's one of the first ones that I saw and was like, okay, this is let's go, boys.
He's the origins of you liking cars, right?
Yeah. It's him and Aventador are the two that I'm like. That was when little old me was like, cars could be cool.
We did have a big old chat about Aventador the other day.
We did.
We had an in-depth.
We had everyone who came past. We go, what about? Because there's like a big Lambo that's like everyone has.
You have one.
You have one. You're going to pick one that's yours, and Ben at least had a theory that was like the big Lambo you like is the one you grew up with.
Yeah,
but then Taylor quelled that by
he said
he's the same age as me roughly.
He's Murcielago,
and he said Aventador, and I'm an Aventador. I'm Murcielago because too many Lamborghini names. Murcielago was the thing. That was the guy when I grew up. Aventador was kind of like when I started driving, it was there, so it was cool. But it's not the guy.
When you started driving, when you had your first Aventador, 17 jumped.
I did drive one when I was 17. I did a driving experience. It was the most harrowing experience of my life. It's very, very scary, but very cool.
When the kids are today, maybe about 10 years' time, we'll ask
So
this.
you?
That's great. But in 10 years' time, we will, on C.R.E.A.M episode 40,000, we will ask someone who was a child right now if they prefer a Revuelto to an Aventador. And then the theory
they will say...
Because Taylor's an anomaly, and there's always an anomaly in a test.
Yeah, it's fair.
Okay, fair.
We need to we should ask more people.
Ben's getting the outliers.
In the comments, put your age, and your big Lambo of choice.
Your national insurance number, the 3 numbers on the back of your credit card.
Yeah, that's
and your mum's maiden name.
Yeah. Will, your one of the week?
My one of the week. I would also probably, because we were talking about GTR, so that got me looking at stuff. And I've seen a few come up at auctions, and I think they're also got offered one actually.
Really?
Did get offered one. There was Adnan. Is Adnan who
the most well-travelled GTR?
Yeah, I see him perhaps once every 6 months.
And who is that?
Adnan was CEO of Carthrottle.
Yep.
I'm going to call it the good old days.
Wow.
The good old days. Well, no, I want the good old days when we used to work there.
Yeah.
And lots of pretty much everyone else who's in this building.
The good old days of Carthrottle. Not just in general.
Oh yeah, not just in general.
God, I hate this podcast.
But yeah, so he bought that in, I think it was like 6 months after I started at CT, which was like 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
And he's only just getting rid of it.
Yeah, he's owned that for a very long time.
He's owned that for he got a lot of shit for having that car.
Oh,
even though he had the best car in the office, but he got bullied.
Have you got any games for this?
Yeah.
Do you lots of laptops?
If there was a problem, is it have you cleared your hard drive?
Have you turned it off and on again?
Recycle bin. Turned it off and on again. Yeah, lots of computer jokes because that was the thing. That was the joke about GTRs.
It's not.
Whereas now it's like this is like mechanical as hell.
Yeah.
But anyway, he had a GTR. It's just quite an early black GTR. It's I say run of the mill. It is when you think of an early GTR,
it's the guy. Stage 4.25.
Yeah. But he's like, I'm selling it after all this time. I think it's on like 70 or 80,000 miles. It's tempting.
And a part of you considered it.
A part of me considered it, but I can't just have any GTR. It has to be the right guy.
It
has to be the right one.
And that's not it.
I waited a little while to find my one before, and it was almost perfect.
So GTR?
GTR's Mark II RS. I've been thinking about a lot.
Mark II RS.
But because they were,
we saw a green one the other day, and it's whenever you see a green one, you see like white RSs a lot. You see what other colours do we see a lot? Blue, yeah, white and blue,
and green,
white and performance blue. You see a lot, but when you see a green one, is it ultimate green?
Ultimate green.
Ultimate green. When you see that, he's something special.
That'll be the one that's worth. That's the one that people are hoarding.
Yeah,
they a lot of them kind of came off the market.
Tic Tac Gang.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, Mark II RS because I think they look cool, and I see less and less of those as the days go by.
STs though, still up.
STs,
Newbury Gang, you're out there,
rusting away on a council estate near you. And my final one, I'm going for 3 wants, is again, it's still Gallardo. And now I did have an unfortunate. This was almost like a Murcielago find recently.
Oh,
I thought you type in Gallardo, you go on Autotrader, you're finding loads. 3.
That's tough. They're getting
3.
They're starting. I wonder if people are going to start looking at what's happening with Murcielagos. They're going to go, right, time to make the same thing happen on Gallardos.
The baby Lamborghini is, I think, possibly going to not just as desirable, but they're just that 5-litre one. That's the poster.
He's so good.
Who was the small poster just next to the Murcielago?
Yeah.
Yours?
Mine. I've had to write them down. My one of the week. Now no affiliation, but there is one of the giveaway competitions is giving away a Lotus Carlton, and now I've bought.
How many?
I've bought tickets.
Okay,
we'll just say that.
Just tickets.
Just in case my girlfriend's listening, and I've bought tickets.
More than one. You bought more.
Yeah, 2.
Okay.
Call it just 2.
2+.
Because, and I'm pretty sure the draw might have been by now. So if I haven't won, I'm the angriest man on earth. If I've won, I'm the happiest man on earth, and I'm ram raiding a business as we speak.
Any missed calls on the phone or?
Yeah, so many. Yeah, I would be the happiest human on earth. Yeah. I don't know what it is. Something about a Lotus Carlton. Yeah. I think it's because I was told the story so many times growing up that it is a myth. It's a legend in my head.
Yeah.
And the fact that they just exist out there is cool to me.
Yeah. Again, something you just don't see.
No. We basically back at Car Throttle, when I put together the video for the 40RA Lotus Carlton thing, we did the video and it did really well. And then Ben and I were planning to do a revisited one because I found the owner of 40RA. A really nice guy called Richard. And we talked through on the phone and he told me this cool story of how it all happened. And I potentially had the budget was cut for this, so that's why it never happened. Cheers. But I had a runway potentially booked, a Testarossa potentially sorted, a MG Metro police car sorted, and a Lotus Carlton, and we've got a drag race on the runway to just show how ridiculously fast they were. Yeah. And I also I spoke to the guys at Vauxhall who said they were going to lend us a Carlton. They said, so you'd be doing like a runway run. I went, yeah, we'd probably be 4 up in the Lotus Carlton wearing balaclavas, and the Testarossa would be next to us. And he went, yeah, I'll have to ask our insurance policy if you can have 4 people doing a drag race. It might work. I was like, yeah, if you could, please, that would be great. So Carlton's
up there. But also, but for reference, they are...
Oh, they're 45, 50 for like a really tatty one. You're looking like 75 plus for a really nice one. Well, it's not just an okay one.
That is crazy.
So if I win that, I'd be the happiest human. I wouldn't sell it as well. I wouldn't take the money.
If it cost you like 8 pence, whatever it is.
I am beating the ever-loving shit out of it.
Yeah.
That I would, if I could win it, I always think that about those competition cars, because I only enter on cars I want.
Yeah.
I never buy a ticket for something I'd rather take cash on. And I'd just love to
to be the guy that has the desirable car that the owners of normal owners.
You shouldn't be doing.
Can't.
No,
especially in a Carlton.
I am going to reverse this into a bookies and steal all the money.
I'm doing J10s, and there is nothing you can do about it.
You cannot stop.
I'm going to drive it into the fish counter at Sainsbury's and ask for a salmon, and there is nothing you can do.
Put it in the back seat, wet. Just go on.
I'm not paying for anything henceforth.
Yeah.
Now I own this car.
You see the police out there? They're not doing anything about this.
They're chasing me. All they got is metros. Nope.
The second thing, it popped up randomly. I got a random ad for it. Is there's a Bonhams auction coming up? I can't remember. But it's a Ferrari 550 Maranello, which is my childhood dream car.
Yeah.
That's what I love. And the estimate on it was 50 grand.
Oh,
that's a cheap Ferrari 550 Maranello. Now it's approximately 50,000 times more than I could spend on one.
Fair enough. Way to go.
But I just saw it. I was like, that's
because also V12 for reference, a V12 Ferrari is
manual.
This is how I try and look at things like this. Not because I can't afford this stuff, but I look at like if I could, it's fine because it'll go up in value.
Yeah, exactly.
Never mind the catastrophic running costs and the potential huge headaches if something goes wrong. But I always look at it, but it'd be fine.
Yeah. The hypothetical,
money.
if I sold everything I owned, I couldn't buy it. Okay, now just imagine you could. Cool. Now you can't afford to run it.
That's cool, but in like 10 years, it might be like 55.
Yeah.
But that will go up, that car.
Oh, absolutely.
A manual.
It was,
they're all manuals?
they're basically all manuals.
A manual V12 Ferrari is going to...
I still, ultimate buy for me is buying your crash one and having it be like a horrible, tatty looking 550. But again, just razzing it around.
There was a, on that same sort of thing, I think it was DK Engineering, had a 599 HGTE, which is actually my least favourite wheels on a hit.
The 5 spokes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
They got sort of Brabus vibe.
Yeah.
But HGTE and...
Well, Ben, sorry, just checking. You're a fan of the HGT wheels, or...
I prefer the HGTG wheels.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, got to go wheels. HGTE, so that's like suspension and
the handling package,
just nice.
Yeah.
But manual, but converted to manual.
Oh, interesting.
Converted to manual, which
and
I think at a certain, it didn't say.
Was it money?
If you have to ask,
yeah, it's too much.
You don't. Yeah, that's the one.
Was it money o'clock?
It was big peas.
Yeah,
I'd say frozen peas. But yeah, that's just cool.
I like that.
I don't think I'd care about any 599. I don't care what gearbox it's got. I want it anyway.
I just the noise. Just what I'm after. And then the final one I had of the week is an E55 AMG. The more time I spend with our work one, and for those of you, if you're listening and sometimes you might wonder, but surely you own those cars. These are work cars. They are owned by the business. They're not our cars. We can't take them home we could take them home on the weekend, but we don't.
Yeah.
I really love that Merc. It's horrible.
Yeah.
That car is bad.
That's the definition of tatty.
Yeah. Even after all we do to it to try and make it better, it will still always be a shonky old horrible E55.
It's getting there, though.
But I really love that car. Yeah. Just wafting around in it. It makes me feel really bad for the C55. So I'm like, oh, the C55 is nice. I go back, get in my one, go, all right, mate, get me home then.
I guess you stink of oil then.
Yeah.
But who you been with? You're stinking of oil. You've been in that E55 again, haven't you?
No. So those are my wants of the week. Shall we move on to the forum, the section where Ben is exercising his baton, maybe to beat
present
us.
This bit properly, or it's going to get messy.
I think it's more to click the button,
which
plays the forum, which is the chance for you guys listening to ask us a question. As you might have heard, these maybe last 20 minutes or so. I'm going to make this really section long, so Ben has to keep stretching over. If you've listened to the last 20 minutes, you've realised that we're horrible car nerds. So maybe you have a question for people who cannot live without these four-wheeled machines. Ben, hit the intro. Oh,
nice.
Good work. Good stuff.
Thank you very much.
That's nice. Where's our question from this week, Ben?
This week's question is from Michael McGee on YouTube.
Hello, Michael.
And it's not as much as an advice question as more of your personal opinion. And I picked this for one specific reason.
Always a bad question.
But to be clear, you can do that on the forum. It doesn't have to be, how do I do a service on a 2004 Renault Scenic?
Because how often do you go into forums and they go, guys, what's your favourite video of a car making noise?
What's the meaning of life?
Yeah, exactly. And never any answers.
Crazy.
Best music video for car nerds. And then second line, Edwin, this one's for you. Has to be Cosmic Girl by Jamiroquai. And I'll tell you why I picked this. Because when we were at Car Throttle, Edwin one time just sat me down, like it was some sort of
homework
some
assignment.
sort of review of my employment, and said, watch this video and please explain to the audience why it's so cool.
Well, realistically, Cosmic Girl is the correct answer.
I'd probably say so.
I think it's so. Jamiroquai was technically a band from the 90s, and JK is the lead of the band. He's a car guy. He's a big car guy.
Big rich.
Big bread car guy.
Big rich.
And even if you look at Jamiroquai's albums, they usually, some of them were Ferrari logos, but with his logo instead of the prancing horse. That's how much he likes cars.
Fair.
But Cosmic Girl, there's lots of good ones, music videos with cars. Cosmic Girl has a Diablo SE30, a Ferrari 355, a Ferrari F40, and they are all chasing each other throughout the entirety of the song. The only gripe that I have, there's two stories with it. First gripe I have, the 355 had just come out, so they pull over at some point in the F40 in the Diablo and ditch the F40 in favor of getting in the 355 because it's like a new Ferrari. But come on now, you drop an F40 for a 355?
Yeah,
that's crazy. And then the second story, which is the kind of well-known, he told it on Top Gear, but the first Diablo was sent out, I think it was either Spain or Portugal they filmed it. It's a really cool looking video. Your homework today is to go and watch Cosmic Girl, by the way. The first Diablo arrived to the shoot location and someone crashed it. So they had to fly out another Diablo, viola purple Diablo, and then the windscreen got smashed on it.
Nice.
So if you watch the music video, you can see that they've pulled the windscreen out because they were like, look, we're shooting this one way or another. Yeah. And their hair, while he's driving and singing, is going absolutely mental. Yeah. Because they're doing like 90 mile an hour with no windscreen, just going...
Yeah, it's a step above Windows Down. Bluster.
But that's
up there. Well, I think we briefly mentioned this the other day, and there's something in my mind. And again, someone
will know.
Please clear this up for me, because I'm fairly sure it was on Top Gear to do with the guest as well. But there is a music video of a man, not a man, you can't see anything. I'm fairly sure it's a really low down shot on like a bumper, and the whole thing is someone just driving around London, and I think it's in a Ferrari.
And to be clear, because the first thing I said, is it the French thing of the Ferrari drive?
It's way newer than that.
Yeah, so it's not
way newer than that.
If you're going to say it's the thing that was actually a Merc driving,
it's like 2000. I don't know.
Okay, so
it feels like it's not Coldplay, but it feels like it's in that arena.
Couple of other options. Manny Fresh, real big. Some great cars in Manny Fresh. You know what? Anything with what's a Birdman and Manny Fresh? What were they called? Big Timers. I
got one.
Diablo doing donuts in Big Timers. Yeah. Crazy.
I got one. Window shopper.
The only time the Maserati MC12 has been
MC12 in a music video.
We had another section on the podcast talking about lyrics.
Yeah.
And I heard something this weekend in one of my playlists, in my game soundtrack playlist, which is Swizz Beatz Top Down, which is from Grand Theft Auto 4. And there's a line in it. I never heard it before. I don't know how I never heard it, but let me read it for you because this is related. This chick said, Swizz, I want to ride in your Viper. I said, hell nah. Don't you know that's a spiker? Number two, out of only 20 in the world, you sit in my seat to change your world. That is a spiker name drop.
He even knows the name. He even knows which number.
He knows the chassis number.
228.
It's a C8. Yeah, it's a later.
Is that how many there are of those?
Yeah, they're very, very. The amount of spikers around. I think it might be like 20 American market cars. But
I'm seeing one of those.
How cool's that? Cool. That is a spiker mention in a
only spiker mention, surely.
Also, a correction. It's not a Viper. I know what you might think. It looks a bit like a Viper, but no, it's actually a spiker chassis number 2.
Crazy thing to mess up. I don't think I'd mess that up if I was even a run-of-the-mill human being.
No?
It's quite a different looking car.
I don't know.
Mid-engine, are they not a spiker?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that.
Mistake.
What else of it? Anything else?
Window shop is great. I can't remember how much the MC12 features in it, but that's good. Pretty much anything sort of G-Unit / 50 Cent is going to have things on really large wheels, 760s and whatever.
I'm going to say it. Blue Cantrell Breathe has
SL?
a baby blue SL on like chrome rims, and I've, for some reason, with white interior, and I have always wanted one in that spec. I would look absolutely ridiculous driving one, but it's cool. But this is how I knew childhood me was a lost cause.
Yeah.
And I think there is a name with a diagnosis for it these days that we can't say. But I remember being about 6 or 7 and watching MTV with my brother and going, no, just wait, just like look in a second. And for maybe half a second, they show a rev gauge. It's an E39 M5 rev gauge.
Wow.
And I went, look, that's not Mercedes. That's a BMW rev gauge. And him going, please shut up and go and sit down. Get out of the way of the TV.
Why is the music on mute and you're just watching this over and over again, studying it?
But also, Shanipal.
On the topic of that video, Jamiroquai video, I have got a list on my phone, if you'd like to hear it for the viewers, of JK's current cars and previous cars, just for some context as to what this man has had. So we'll go current. This might not be 100% accurate. I found it on the website. GMA T50.
Yep.
New guy. The spec is interesting.
Not great on that. I don't believe.
It's white. It has grey wheels and it has green.
Like
you know, Challengers with the lip guards.
Yeah,
that sort of spec green.
His thing is green.
That's yellow.
Yeah, but that sort of spec like
there.
Sorry.
He loves that like luminous green. That's what his
LaFerrari was. Yeah, and then that's gone now.
Believe so.
Yeah, out of the 3 seats, the middle seat is green. That same green. Hello, mate. Sorry.
Ben has just got very excited because on Need for Speed Payback, the man is driving a S2000.
Very exciting.
Nice. Ben could never.
Great. We'll rattle through these. 911 Sport Classic 997.
Yep.
Aventador SVJ Roadster.
What's the spec on that?
That's actually not bad. It has got the same green on the wheels.
Okay.
That's
on the
car
calipers.
dealership.
Ferrari 275 GTS, nice. F40, Alfa Romeo 8C,
nice.
911R, 991. Those are the ones he apparently currently has. Now, previous.
I know he had an E36 M3 saloon. Good stuff, my man. You know what? I'm going to put this out there into the universe. JK is one of our ultimate C.R.E.A.M podcast guests.
That would be
if you have any connection, and he will never be on this podcast, but you know what? Just give us 5 minutes in a room. We'll bore him to death with car nerdery, and he'll
probably quite enjoy it.
He'd love it.
He got some stories to tell.
Because also we'd just be any other podcast he goes on, they're going, so tell us about how the music industry has changed. Meanwhile, we're going, what are we doing with that green on that front lip of the T50?
Oh, yeah, what's your want of the week? I'm talking about GMA.
LaFerrari, F40, F50. All right.
What about a £2,000 Mercedes?
Yeah, you ever drive an E55 with an exhaust blow? Because that thing's quick.
One of my favorite memories of watching Top Gear is when he was on there with the Miura.
Yeah,
and this would have been at a point when a Miura. I think they actually talked about Miura values then.
Was it 200 or 150?
It was in the ones, I believe. But I think they were talking about it as in they have shot up in value.
Yeah,
whereas now they are. $2
million for like an SV.
Ridiculous. But it's him and Hammond out in the. You could tell he'd just be unruly. I think that they're doing stuff that the BBC don't want him to be doing.
No, yeah,
because he's talking about. He's like, you go past someone. I can't remember what speed he says, but it's something. It's like 100, 120 miles an hour. And he's talking about like he wants to drive these cars so that a kid sees it. And he's like, I was on the carpet doing this with a car, and now I've got the real one. And he's talking. You can see he just enjoys
He's afflicted.
It. I can't remember if it's the same Top Gear or if it's a fifth gear one. I can't remember, but where they walk around some of his cars, and he had one of the very, very long Mercedes, but it's a ex Coco Chanel one, I think.
Yeah.
And again, that's just I just buy it because that's funny.
That is,
That's entertaining to me to buy this very long car that I don't need. He's like, that's a staff car or whatever.
Yeah, if I'm oodles rich, I'm doing that. I'm buying dumb things because it's simply, and they're just cars. It's just cars on cars.
Yeah.
So please, JK, if you're listening, just let us. You know what? It doesn't even need to be on a podcast. I'd just like to meet him. I just want to
get him on the phone.
That's a beer, man.
Yeah.
Have a beer and chat cars.
Yeah.
Platinum Award-winning artist JK sitting on a dirty old leather sofa in a unit in Reading
in front of a Jag with no engine.
No engine. Yeah, mate. Just we're getting a delivery of parts in a minute. If you could sign for that.
Okay, we'll rattle through these because quickly.
There's more.
Yeah, that's what he currently has. This is what now he did have. Aston Martin DB6, a Singer 911. Don't know which one. Maserati A6, Ferrari 250 GTL.
Lusso.
That's the one. Ferrari 330.
250 GT Lusso.
Yeah.
Don't know. I don't actually know what that is. Didn't know that there was a Lusso. 275 GTB Lusso.
Who knows? Not me. 911 C.R.E.A.M RS. He's a pre-G body, I think.
Ooh. Now Ben knows.
Another one as well. 250 GT, Ferrari, Lamborghini Countach, Ferrari Super America.
Yeah.
What is that?
575 Super America.
A Mercedes 190e Evolution 2 Lamborghini Diablo. That might be the exact one that was crashed from that video as well. I don't know if it was his car, maybe. Probably, Who knows?
They were all his cars in the videos.
So that crash car, I got there's a photo of that.
It's potentially a
Lamborghini Miura SV, Porsche Carrera GT.
I wonder if that's
second Porsche.
Cars.
Yeah, second Porsche Carrera GT, Ferrari Enzo, Ferrari 599 GTO, Lamborghini Diablo SE30, Ferrari F12 TDF, the green LaFerrari 918 Spider.
Lovely.
So just your normal sort of Tesco car park, really. Yeah.
I bet though there are some more. That's like they're like the headline.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
There's stuff below that.
That's what gets written about on these websites because I remember seeing it. He does like a clear out of cars, and I remember seeing it wasn't even mint. It was like a good amount of miles on it, an E36 M3 Saloon Evo. And in his ownership, he'd done like 5 or 10k miles. Yeah. Nice, just cool. Just whizzing around in the 36 M3.
David Beckham had one then.
What 36? Yeah,
yeah, the 36 M3. I can't believe for whatever reason I decided to watch a documentary.
I watched that,
which was interesting to say the least. It was okay. But anyway, and there's a part that it just perked. I was kind of watching it in the background.
Yeah,
and then he starts talking about. I think it's when he starts making money. He's like, so I went out and bought an M3. So immediately, I was researching it, and there's pictures and videos of him. Yeah, it's a 36. I can't remember.
And he has the VDB plate on it, doesn't he?
Yeah,
that's like the first thing that he got it. And then the 993,
and then there's a 99. Yeah, and it goes on from there. But I was like, you know what? That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah,
because an M3 is still even then. Like I know it would have been a brand new M3, but he didn't go straight out and buy the Ferrari or the Porsche or whatever. It was like, you know what? Get David Beckham and Jamiroquai
on the
same sofa.
They replaced both of us.
We're the guest on their podcast.
I don't want to be the guy to ask their questions.
You asked David Beckham a forum question.
So, guys, conspiracies. Tell me about it. Speaking of, shall we move on to the conspiracy, our favourite?
Have you got one, Ben?
I've got one that was emailed in.
Oh, here we go.
What you got? I've got one as well.
Was it emailed in?
No.
Okay, we have different ones then.
Okay, cool. We'll do them both.
Yes. This is from a man called Thomas.
Hello, Thomas.
Emailed us. No one actually owns their car unless it was bought from new.
I see.
Thoughts on this so far?
Okay.
Interesting. But I've read it and it is actually quite interesting. My theory behind this is when buying a used car, the purchaser who bought it from new is the only owner. This is because when signing the V5 over to the new owner, you'll notice when it comes through in the post, the V5 will then state that the vehicle now has 2 or however many registered keepers, not owners. The V5 also stipulates that it is not, new line, proof of ownership. The insurance cannot be proof of ownership as that itself asks if you own the vehicle. Therefore, they assume you have the relevant documentation to prove you own the vehicle. When Googling how to prove ownership of a vehicle, it says you must show an invoice, receipt, or bill of sale when you bought it. But if I must point out the obvious, 9 times out of 10 when buying a used second-hand car, you either pay cash or bank transfer.
Okay.
And it could say any sum of money moved from one account to another, you would have no idea that's a used vehicle. To conclude my theory, only the very first purchaser who bought the car from you is the continued owner of the vehicle for its entirety.
Yeah.
You know what?
But I think, okay.
Sorry, this could get sketchy. They're making a livery. It might have to blur the screen.
Whatever you see behind it, it's nothing to do with that.
Yellow headlights, already an L on that one.
Right. You know, yes, I
see what you're saying.
This feels like the same email as there's no such thing as the fast lane. Yeah, I can kind of see technically what you're talking about, but possession is 9/10 of the law. It's like the saying.
Oh, fair.
So if I got the car in my possession, I got the keys, and I've got some documentation.
What he's saying is that the original owner of, let's say, this Jaguar XFR, which he's more than welcome to,
just come and get it.
Just come and get it.
Yeah.
But surely, if you're saying that an invoice or proof of sale is the proof of ownership, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to have one of those. A brand new car sells once when it's brand new, and there is an invoice, a proof of sale. But when it sells again,
to a dealer
or whoever else, and a lot of people private will do an invoice or some kind of
even a piece of paper.
They will do it. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but
you're banking on a car going its entire life having never had a proof of sale. And to be fair, there won't be any proof. You know, if you look in a car's document or history book, whatever, most people chuck that stuff out.
Yeah,
but you're going to do one every time you buy it. So I like your thinking.
The other thing,
it's tinfoil hat to the max.
Well, the other thing though is that it's not actually a conspiracy. There's nothing actually being questioned here. It's just a statement of fact.
Yes, that's also fair. Well, what's the conspiracy here is that it's
that you never truly own anything, and they come and take it whenever they want.
It's a plot by the rich to take from the poor.
Yeah, that there'll be an uprising, and every used car will be taken back by the person that originally bought it.
But if we're playing chances here, technically, so for example, if you had a car with 10 owners, owner number 9 couldn't take it back from you because they have no proof they ever owned it. So it's only ever the original guy. So there's some old boy in like Stoke-on-Trent who might pop in one day and want that Jag back.
But you're saying in all those 10 people, 9 people, however many, not one of them bought it with a proof of sale.
Listen, not my car. I'm not sure.
I think that is the biggest load of. Yeah. No, I'm not having that one. That's rubbish.
No.
Okay, we'll break your.
Towards the end of you describing it, I was like,
yeah, can hear it.
It's quite interesting. But I think there's too many times a lot of people buying stuff through a dealer.
Yep.
Where there is an invoice, there is a proof of sale, there's monies, even surely like a bank transfer.
Yeah,
something with a reference.
I always put a reference on it that says the purchase of with the number plate.
Why would I transfer £6,500 to someone for this Jag?
Also, for this engine,
please
Jag.
take it back.
Also, to be fair, if let's say you transfer the money, it'll be your account to their account. If they trace that account to the other person, then who owned the car, it doesn't take a genius to work out. They've probably bought the car off of you. If that person suddenly on the same date in the same account had that much money come in, it's not a coincidence.
Yeah, I don't buy it. It's not. It's one. It's not a conspiracy.
Yep.
And 2, it's horse manure.
Okay. Please,
hang on. Sorry. We got set. Plausible?
No, myth busted.
I think the conspiracy I've got, the car conspiracy I have, is slightly more plausible. I don't have it written down, but we got tagged in this a few times because of our car conspiracy.
Yes.
Section. A load of people sent it to us on Instagram, etc., etc. A guy called Hold on. That's not his name. It's really
his name's Holden.
His name is Hold On. His name is on Instagram Sam Green Machinery.
Right.
And he's talking about cam belts being a scam. Now, scam
could you
is
say
a conspiracy. So basically,
sorry to interrupt. Cam belts being a scam. It's
a scam belt.
Lovely, thank you.
It's a scam belt. Scam-spiracy. Scam belt-spiracy. But basically, what he's saying is that you have to do a belt. A belt is a very expensive thing to do, right?
Yep.
It's going to cost you at least £500.
Your girlfriend?
My girlfriend currently going through 1 litre EcoBoost problems, has to get it done. One of the cheapest quotes I've had so far, £1,100 to do a cam belt on a 1 litre Fiesta. But you got to do it. If you don't do it, you're losing an engine and you're paying way, way more. Timing chains. They exist. As bad. But anyway, the cam belts is the main one because that's what's on most cars out there. And what he's saying is it's a scam because there is a better way.
Yeah.
He was talking about a truck.
Yeah, that have gears
and lorries and whatever else that use gears, and they go for hundreds of thousands of miles with oil changes, but no real actual maintenance.
Yeah.
So why would no one ever apply that in the car world? Because it would make an engine last forever.
I know. I get in my head, the answer is because they're more expensive. It's cheaper to do cam belts. But would it really be? Would it be that much? I guess maybe noise and harshness NVH. They might be louder with gears. Maybe. I don't know. But genuinely, yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because in theory, a chain is better than a belt, but 9 times out of 10 it's not, as we found.
Well, I wouldn't say 9 times out of 10. I think mostly.
But how many cars with a chain do you that are? It's the manufacturer will say the chain's for life, but it's not.
Yeah, but I think the majority of chain engined cars tend to be better than belts.
Really?
I think they do last longer.
Okay,
because you've got, BMWs. It's not usually the chain, it's usually the tensioner on the chain.
But the chain stretches, right?
That's the thing. On some cars on present company excluded.
Yeah.
But no, a well-built chain will go for much, much longer. Whereas a belt, here's the other thing. I'm going to say, there's a lot of people probably going to be upset by this. You don't need to change them. A time belt. How many times have you actually heard of a time belt snapping?
Yeah, what is that? Just because people have changed it? Though?
Exactly. But then you see some people who are like, I've just run 200k on the same belt. I'm not saying they don't degrade over time, but the thing where it's no, you have to change it within a certain amount of miles instead of time based. That I actually don't agree with.
Yeah. Well, because obviously it's a rubber.
Yeah, so it stretches over time. That sort of stuff. But
you've just come up with a new conspiracy there.
What? That you don't have to change
them.
You know what? Let's get an engine,
which completely ruins this guy's conspiracy about them being a scam.
No, but you should. So therefore, people do, and they spend the money with the dealer to get the car serviced.
Yeah.
Well, I genuinely fully agree with it. I think it's the thing.
Is it Enzo?
Enzo has gears.
Engine is gears.
Yeah.
Any Enzo owners?
Guys, yeah. How often are you guys changing your Enzo gears?
When you get to like 100k, 140k, are you changing that? Or
meanwhile, that one guy in America,
yeah,
he'd have the answer for us because he does moon miles.
But I would have thought that surely a chain has some. Gears have some kind of wear.
Yeah, but I guess gearboxes go for many millions of miles on some things, not car related.
But it surely is like servicing related.
Exactly, yeah.
Because it's the same thing people say about chains. Chains sometimes stretch or for whatever because people don't either change a tensioner or they're doing an oil change every 25k rather than 10 because a manufacturer says so. But I completely understand it. It feels like the cam belt is there to limit the life of the car.
Yeah.
Also means you are going to have to. There are going to be millions of millions and billions and trillions of cars out there that have to have a timing belt done.
Oh yeah,
have to.
And
either at a dealer or at somewhere else at some point, they're going to have it done.
And to a layperson, like if you're listening to this podcast, you are not the 99%.
Yeah.
If you're interested in cars enough to even listen to this podcast, you're a step above most people.
Yeah.
Most people are going to hear, oh, if I don't change this part on my car, my engine explodes and costs me 5, 10, 15, 20 grand. Okay, I'll pay you the 1,500 quid to do it. Because they're scared shitless that, okay, why wouldn't I do this if it's going to explode my engine?
Yeah.
And that dealer goes, I'll book you in next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Of course you do that. You make great money off it.
Yeah, it does feel like that the cam belt has never got any better.
No.
Never made it. Someone just chose it and went, yep,
you can
we'll go for that little rubber strap around the engine, shall we? But yeah, I buy it. I don't know quite what the conspiracy is, like who kind of gains.
I guess it's dealers. Manufacturers making cars last less long than they could.
Because my only thought on it is that a lot of timing belt, what do you call it?
Enjoyers.
Weakest
timing belt enjoyer.
Schedule. How would you say?
Interval. Okay, there you go.
So basically, when you have to do the timing belt, a lot of it's quite high. It's going to be 10 years. It's going to be 100,000 miles 9 times out of 10. From what I can see, what I've seen on most cars, a timing belt is like 10 years, 100k.
Yeah.
Potentially. Like it's never in the first 3 years.
No.
So
I think
it's never when the
I've
car's
seen
new.
some that I feel are like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah. The McGann, that is remember what that is. But anyway, but like on Focus RSs, for example, like those T5 engines, it's 10 years or 100,000 miles, whichever comes soonest.
Yeah.
So it's like 9 times out of 10, surely it's not going to be the dealer or the manufacturer that gains.
Yeah, true.
It's going to go to an independent.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So who wins here? Well,
I call it plausible, not confirmed.
I buy it. I want to know who gains from it, but and if anyone knows anything about chains and gears, let us know and why it's not in cars.
Yeah,
I'm more than welcome to learn about it.
That's it. That's the end of this C.R.E.A.M podcast. Let us know your rules and your ruins in the comments. Let us know your wants of the weeks. Just all the good stuff. Let us know. We will see you next week. Cars roll everything around me. C.R.E.A.M. Dollar bill.
Greeners.